to do is how could we showcase the startups, because actually Climate-KIC has had a really good run of supporting lots of different startups across Europe, and we wanted to help them get out there and find new investors, but also give people more access to the data around the startups. And that's where we've been quite fortunate to partner up with our colleagues at Dealroom on a new ecosystem, which we're going to introduce for you today. So I'll just run you quickly through the agenda. So first, of course, a little bit of a spiel by myself about Climate-KIC, who we are and what we care about. And then I'll pass to Alan and Sheikh at the Dealroom team to tell you more about the startup database that we've created for you guys to have a play with. We'll go through a little demo so that you know how to use the system. And at the end of the session, we'll also do a treasure hunt, and there is a prize up for grabs. So added incentive to pay attention throughout the session, but also an added incentive to jump on the platform and sign up for an account. It is free, but you do need to sign up if you want full access to all the data. So there's a link in the chat for those of you who haven't yet signed up for an account, might want to do that in the background while we go through the information. And then at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A where we can, drill into some questions that you might have as well. So yeah, on the next slide is like a little bit of introductory to Climate-KIC and who we are. So if it's your first time on the call, welcome. If it's your 100th call, welcome 100th time. So Climate-KIC's been around since 2010, and we claim our spot as the world's largest climate innovation community. Most of our funding comes from the European Union or the organisations who are based in the EU, and we work on delivering the European Green New Deal, so creating new jobs, helping new startups invent new technology, helping universities invest in research and innovation programs, and working with governments and different organisations on their net zero 2030 plans. We're a little bit, I think one of the, I saw today the UN's given up on 1.5 degrees C, which is quite interesting and quite sad actually. But we still think that 1.5 degrees is possible if there's the right kind of innovations in place. So we're a high ambition, innovative organisation. We like to push the envelope and also look for weird and wonderful things that can help us achieve a catalytic transformation and hopefully still find our way to net zero 2030 for Europe and 2050 globally. In that arena, we have lots of different programs. One of them, and one of the biggest actually, is the Climate Accelerator program. It's been running the whole 12 years that we've been in existence, and through that we've supported well over 1,000 clean tech startups. We have data of about 1,000 in the system because going back in time, as you know, is a little bit tricky. But we've supported more than 1,000 clean tech businesses from across Europe, and we think that there's some really interesting innovators and founders out there who are really trying to help shape a climate positive new normal for us. And we're here to support them and also to support investors to find new investment opportunities as well. So that's what led us to thinking about how we can showcase our startups and provide people with a bit more data around trends at that scale, track things over time, and also go on there and scratch the itch. Is there something in Berlin? Is there somebody in Berlin that I can talk to? Or I'm going on a trip to Madrid. How could I connect with some climate innovators? So just so that you've got visibility and access to the full ecosystem. And we hope that it becomes a little bit of a home where people from startups, from investors, policymakers from the EU, and also students searching for jobs can find each other and connect through the ecosystem. And all of that's in service of attracting more money into, of course, our mission, which is to achieve net zero 2030. So yeah, with that, I'll introduce colleagues Alan and Sheikh from Dealroom, who partnered up with us to build the data and the ecosystem. And Alan will take you on a little bit of a presentation around what's in there that you can explore. Over to you, Alan.
Thanks, Ben. So hi, everyone. My name is Alan. I'm an account manager here at Dealroom, also based in Amsterdam, where we have our HQ. And what we're going to do is have a short presentation about the what Dealroom is, what we do, a bit about the reasoning behind the platform and what it can do, and then we'll move over to a demo. Again, quite short. If you feel like you need more information, more guidance after this, then feel free to either find us either through the Climate-KIC team or just on our support function on the site, and you'll receive more information. So we at Dealroom are a global data platform for intelligence and startups, innovations, high growth companies, ecosystems, and investment strategies, basically making sure that everyone across the world can have access to a lot of very good, reliable data with regards to the global ecosystem and the different aspects of investments, tech, and the like. Our data comes from 4 main sources. First one is our unique AI algorithm that basically scrapes the internet for open source data about companies, investors, deals, and adds it to our database. Our second source of data is our government partnership networks. We work with dozens of governments worldwide, and they provide us, of course, in a very legal and GDPR compliant way, the data that they can share, and that also goes into our database. The third and very important source is our community. So users such as startups, founders, angels, VCs, universities, everyone who has a profile on the platform and a company page also contributes to the strength of our data. And then lastly, third-party providers, which we use to source things like jobs, patents, and other analytics. All of our data is verified and validated both by our AI and by our manual human data teams spread all across Europe. These are some of our partners, just to give you sort of an idea of who we work with. And we believe that the way and the road to getting the best and most accurate data is by having local expertise and having local communities contributing to the success of their specific platforms, such as in our case, Climate-KIC, and also creating bigger visibility on the global platform, both within Dealroom and just in general. What we will be using the platform is to give you insights about the ecosystem in one single place. On the micro level, when you look at a company's profile, you'll be able to see many things such as their funding history and overview, their jobs and hiring data, news, their team. You can compare them with similar companies, and you'll be able to view their Dealroom signal, which is a unique element of Dealroom platforms, basically indicating the level of readiness for that company to do something big, either get another round of investment, an IPO, branch out to new markets, things like that. And to calculate that, we take into account lots of things like employee and hiring data, like investments, like the nature and then background of their founders, and many things like that. On the macro level, you'll be able to view all of the startups in the Climate-KIC ecosystem. You'll be able to compare them, sort them, look through them, and I will demonstrate how in a second. And you'll be also be able to view sort of micro data and visualizations, graphs, charts, anything related to funding, investments, exits, and things like that. We aspire for the platform to serve basically all stakeholders in this ecosystem. So startups can use it to gain visibility, discover investors, gain leads. Program managers can track growth of their startups. Larger companies can basically showcase their involvement in the ecosystem and also look for potential partnerships or investments. And of course, investors can use the platform to source their next great investment. This is the link and the QR code that you can scan if you haven't clicked the link or you just rather use mobile. And I'll give you 5 seconds to do that, and then we'll switch over to the platform itself for a demo. All right. Yeah. Okay. So by show of hands, can everyone see the platform? Yes,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Thank you so much. All righty. So welcome to the EIT Climate-KIC platform. This is our main page. This is our dashboard. Contains an interactive map of Europe, which if you click on a specific country, you'll receive specific data for the country, such as the number of startups in the ecosystem, some data about investments, about funding rounds, and about employees. And you can basically click any country that has a shade of blue. Scrolling down a bit, you'll reach our data cards, which are very user specific. So this is your very own personalized homepage. In here, you can either click to edit or remove or add certain cards. And what this gives you is an instant look into whatever is your saved searches. If you've created any lists on the platform, you can access them immediately. And if there are interesting new companies that match criteria from previous searches, then they will appear here as well. And a couple of other data points like recent rounds and recommendations. Moving over to curated content, this is a perfect place for a new user to start their journey on the platform. We have basically curated a couple of big topics which we feel are relevant for the ecosystem. And under each one of these topics are suggestions for searches that you can basically click like this and receive that search immediately without having to go through any of the the search function. So this is great again for new users to familiarize themselves with the platform. When we click the company page, we will receive a list of all startups and companies in the ecosystem. Now, this is obviously one of the most interesting aspects of the platform. This list can be sorted through any of the columns. So for instance, if you want the highest valuation, or if you want to know what the highest growth is, then you can sort it like this. You can also free search on the search tab. So you can free search, for instance, either a tag or even a location. So let's say Germany. I just click Germany and we'll immediately receive the list of all German companies on the platform. So this is free search. Now, if we go to advanced search, which is a very powerful tool, then you have a wide selection of data points that you can use from industries, sub-industries, technologies, and specific tags to, for instance, the size and valuation of a company, their founder background, age, gender, even specific colleges and universities, any, of course, impact goals that they might, correspond with, and if they have patents or not, and many, many other sort of data points that you can explore. So if we go back and let's say we want to save this list of German companies, all we have to do is click Save to the search, give it a name such as German startups, and save it. And once it is saved, it will always exist in your saved items area that is here. If you click here and you go to your searches, you will see all of the searches that you've ever saved. You can return to them. And like I mentioned, if a new company enters and matches that criteria and is added to the database, you'll receive a notification on your dashboard, and even in an email if you choose to do that. On our job board, you'll be able to see all jobs open within the ecosystem. And again, you can search for specific industries you would be interested in, even specific technologies. If that is your background, then again, tons of data points for you guys to really narrow down, your next great career opportunity. For funding rounds, we've got historical data over the years. When you click a specific year, you get a list of all the deals that were done in that year. And even if you look at the total data, you can play with it, make it 100% scale, change it from round size to investor type, even investor location, again, which is really cool and very useful. Same thing for exits, same types of data. All you have to do is click Show Stats, and you can basically view all the data that we have. And of course, use advanced search filters to gather even more data and hone your search even more. Another cool tool that we have here is which is basically great for founders and CEOs, CFOs to look for the next investor. So let's say we look. Well, oh, there we go. Takes a while. Yeah, there we go. So if we click this and let's say we want to raise 100 million in a round B from an investment fund, then we'll receive a very big list of investors that are active in our specific vertical and are willing to invest that amount and have experience with our specific vertical. Lastly, our heat map, which is basically an aggregation of investments made, in our case, in different locations through the ecosystem. You can, of course, remove and add new locations, and you can also use advanced filters here for even more data point. One last thing I would like to show you is the ability to create landscapes. So if we say we go back to our German search, which is here, and we want to create a landscape of this search, then we click a landscape and maybe divide it by SDGs, and then we have this really cool visual shareable tool that we can, screen grab and upload to one of our social media accounts to basically, let our audience see exactly what our ecosystem is comprised of. So that's a really cool thing. And that concludes the platform demo. As I mentioned before, this was super quick. So if you have any more questions, you can find us through our support function, which is down here, or you can talk to the Climate-KIC team or to one of us.